Since the dawn of computers, man has strived to invent, reinvent, create, destroy, construct, program, and fix the hardware that makes up the metal box with the shiny lights. The funny thing is, that's not even the valuable stuff. Also, since the computer revolution, the world has experienced a massive shift in content from physical to digital. In layman's terms, things that used to be sold in solid objects, e.g. a CD, is now to be sold and downloaded online for a mere 6 megabytes on your digital desktop. With this great convenient data storage system comes a high-risk problem: data theft. Thieves rip content from developers' hands. Thieves in the form of deadly, dangerous assassins, namely household teenagers and grandparents. That's right, believe it or not, people hurt those selfless industry billionaires who spend months with millions of dollars that could have fed a whole third world country to produce a humble $3 beat to have selfish slugs rip it from their peaceful hands. Okay, maybe that last part was a little bit exaggerated, but in general, the typical household person will be doing pretty much that. Companies do spend millions to produce things to entertain you, to keep you occupied. You might think billions of people do it. What's one more? A lot. That's what one more is. By copying, downloading material you don't own, you're essentially passing it on to hundreds more, intentionally or not. As long as the program is running, people can download that item straight off your computer and share it to thousands more. One of the most notable cases in history would have to be the Napster website, which was one of the most popular file-sharing websites. It held thousands of copyrighted materials and distributed it to people globally via the internet. The band Metallica realized this as a problem and sued Napster. This started several investigations by recording industries and bands all over, which eventually led to Napster's bankruptcy and eventual closure. Now the Napster logo and website have been bought out to sell music digitally, similar to iTunes. So, you can see why people who made the songs can be angry and make things cost more. You can also see why it's illegal and shouldn't be done. Despite all the laws against copyrighted material, millions still do it and enjoy it. There's something you want to keep money rather than give it away. You can get things for free, you get things for free. You have what you want and get to keep your money. Yay for you. Sounds exactly like a burglar, doesn't it? Here's another question for you geniuses. If you don't own what you're illegally downloading and haven't paid the proper people for it, does that make it stealing, and stealing wrong? Yeah. Here's another question. Does anyone give a crap? Honestly, think about it. Society has seemed to evolve around this issue and gone straight for the individual benefit. People usually find it easy to rebel against the law because of a few factors. Consequences. You almost never hear about people being sued for illegally downloading files, and even when you do, it doesn't make you think twice. The risk is too low, and the reward is too great. Community standards. Usually people will morally revolve around the laws most accepted by the community they're used to. Murder is deemed disgusting by a community, so is breaking into a house and stealing things. But illegal file sharing is not. It's not even frowned upon by seniors, usually so bent that this would never happen back in their day, probably because it wasn't around then. The community standard dictates the way individuals think, as it usually is a priority to be accepted by your peers. This problem has become way too viral. It spreads each day at a massive rate. It's a raging fire that can't be put out. So, what now? With the words file sharing tarnished as evil from every digital industry, and yet still practiced by people, what's there to do now? We can't fix this problem overnight, but is there something we can do? And the more important part of this assignment, what do I think about it? I've grown up with file sharing being normal and acceptable. I didn't even know what I was doing was considered wrong until I was about 13 years old. Thankfully, I've matured enough to realize what is happening to society. I've come to realize that file sharing is much, much bigger than me, bigger than us. Peer-to-peer is huge, and there isn't much we can do about it. But there is something we can do to help. If I've downloaded a movie and liked it, that usually means I'll recommend it to my friends to rent from the video store or even buy it, followed by me doing just that. If someone has put enough amount of work into something, they deserve a reward. If file sharing continues to grow, the digital entertainment industry will suffer serious blows. It's up to us to keep the money circulating so that the products are still being made. In short, if I sample something and like it, I will go out of my way to purchase it. That's just my view simplified. Then again, if there were no songs or movies made, maybe the industries would turn to inventing an alternative to fossil fuels, or turn to producing something productive to planet Earth. You never know. Maybe, just maybe, file sharing could be good.